Hey, what's going on, Cloud Scholars? I hope your day is going well. My name is Kieran Tross. I'm excited today to talk to you about a new series that we have going on here, which is what is Azure Blob hunting? So one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this series is because we haven't done any videos on ethical hacking. So we've done things on implementation in Azure, we've done things from security in Azure, we talked about design in Azure, but we haven't really done anything on ethical hacking. So why is it so important? So think of it. If you're a general in an army, you're gonna know exactly how to defend the castle. Well, I hope you would, right? But a really good general would know how to take a castle as well. And this video was our first video really going on the lines of red teaming. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to really talk to you about what is Azure Blob hunting, right? And this is our first ethical hacker video. So this is going to be a 4-part series. And in this 4-part series, the first part, which is this part right here, we're going to go into, as always, we have to define what we're learning. So what is Azure Blob hunting? And then I'm also going to talk to you how it's accomplished from a theoretical standpoint. In part 2, we're going to go through the prerequisites. I'm going to show you the tools you'll need and that you need to go about blob hunting. Part 3 is going to really be about how to blob hunt. This is the practical. This is where we get in front of the Azure portal and I'm actually showing you the commands and how you go about doing your blob hunting. And then part 4 is where I go and show you exactly how to investigate it within Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And then also looking at activity logs, going into a little bit of Azure metrics as well to see exactly any anomalies. And then I also end that video off with protecting your storage account. That's the last part of this series. So before I go into what is blob hunting, right, what I want to do is make sure that I put out there that this is ethical hacking, right? So everything that you learn here, please use this for only good purposes. Do not use it maliciously. I want to put out there as well, I am not your lawyer and I am not a lawyer. So whatever you learn here, I'm only doing this from ethical hacking purposes just so that we can learn and that we can be better security engineers at the end of the day. So now that that's been said, what is blob hunting? So blob hunting is strategies that threat actors use in order to do data exfiltration. So what they do is they're looking for exposed blobs so that they can take the sensitive information and use it for whatever reason that they want to. Please keep in mind that when it comes to blob hunting, this strategy, it may change up a little bit, but it can be used the same way for AWS and GCP. So what I'm going to demonstrate to you is these tactics are easy to do, not expensive, and do not require any authentication. There's a ton of open source tools on the net that hackers, threat actors, whatever you want to call them, use in order to accomplish their goals, which is doing data exfiltration. So first thing I want to talk about is the naming convention for Azure storage accounts and AWS accounts. So Azure storage accounts are followed by the storage account name .blob.core.windows.net. And then for AWS, you have doc, example, bucket, S3, the location, Amazon AWS, etc., and followed by the rest of the URL. So I'm just going to throw up here the AWS naming convention for buckets. So the bucket name must be between 3 and 63 characters long. Bucket names can consist of lowercase letters, numbers, dots, etc., and then we have a whole plethora of other information there. Now you may say to yourself, why is this important? Well, to hackers it's important because they're going to look at this in documentation that Microsoft provides, AWS provides, GCP provides, and say, okay, well, I know the naming guardrails, right? The convention, right? Well, not necessarily naming convention, but the scope of the name that the users, right, will need to follow in order to successfully create an Azure storage account or S3 bucket. So once they find that out, they're like, okay, well, now I can say, okay, well, I can use or create a tool that will stay within those parameters, and then there goes the guessing game, right? So you probably have never thought of it that way. I know I didn't until I started learning about Azure's blob hunting. And this is exactly why it's so important for us as security engineers, architects, or whatever you want to call yourself. It's really important for us to really think from a, I want to say, threat actor malicious point of view, because that's going to help us keep our environment more safe. So let's talk a little bit about, what criteria, or what I should say, misconfiguration, we need to follow in order for threat actors to accomplish their goals. And when I say follow, I say that lightly. I mean misconfigurations that need to take place in your organization. So one, we have network configuration allows internet access. Then we say configuration allows public access. And then our containers have public access as well. And if you're not really sure about the container access levels, I'm going to show you that in part 3 of this video. And then finally, the last step, which is not on this a diagram right here in front of you, is threat actors correctly guess the URL of the containers or the blob. So this diagram here, this picture really shows you brute force guessing of storage account names. And then they do the same thing when it comes to blob containers discovered. And then they also do the same thing for the lower area, which is blobs exposed. And then they use REST APIs in order to get that information. So one thing I would tell you is that it's really important that when you're creating your storage accounts, that you try to come up with names that, are very unusual, right? Because it makes it harder for threat actors. Plus, you also want to make sure that you're putting in the right security parameters. And I'm going to go into that in part 4 to make sure that you don't run into these kind of situations. All right, so that was a quick overview of what blob hunting is and how it's accomplished. Now, some of you may say, I'm still confused. I don't know if I fully comprehend, which is perfectly fine, right? This was just a theory video of how it's accomplished from a threat actor point of view. What I want to do is I want you to continue watching. Definitely, get something to drink, get something to snack on, because part 2, I'm going to show you the prerequisites, right? It's going to be about, what you need in your environment in order for us to get to part 3, which is a storage account, virtual machine, or you can use your own desktop if you want to. And I'll also introduce you to one of the tools that you can use to do blob hunting, which is MicroBurst. It's a really powerful tool. It's really easy to use, and it doesn't cost you anything as well. So this is the end of part 1. I hope the information I provided to you is very valuable. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. You know what the goal is over here at Cloud Scholars, is to get you from scholar to consultant and from consultant to expert. Thank you, and see you next time.